right. Welcome to another episode of Homestead Shop Talk Podcast with Al from Lumna Acres and Ben from Holler Homestead and myself, Jason from Sow the Land. This is episode 53. So we're over a year now with this podcast. Every Friday, we're hanging out in the shop, just talking about our week and seeing what's going on. So how you guys been?
Hot, but not tonight.
You got a sweater on.
I do
Yeah,
tonight.
I was going to ask. Like, I'm over here dying. You're wearing a hoodie.
It's like 50s right now.
Oh, man.
We were in the 90s. We had a nasty heat wave for 3 days, and then now it's cold again.
We're in it right now.
You're in it.
Yeah,
I saw that. I'm like, we're like, it's cold again here all of a sudden. I'm like, I wonder what they are.
It's dry, super dry, and
Really?
hot.
Okay. So we had 90s and really high humidity. I think the highest we had was 93, and we were getting like 60-70% humidity. And then we were getting rain at night, and we were getting like an inch and a half to 2 inches in like 10-15 minutes. And then the next day it was just 90 degrees and even more humid. It was like, ugh.
Yeah, we could use some rain.
Yeah, you can have some of ours.
Yeah, I know. My 1,000-gallon rain tank is about 400 gallons now.
So you guys haven't got any, even in the last.
No
oh wow!
rain.
I thought you guys must have got some the last time around.
No.
Wow.
I actually
Pretty
had to
dry.
fill my rain catchment tank that the chicken coop drains into, and I use that water for all of the like soaking animal feed and stuff like that. I actually had to go stick the hose in it and fill it up the other day because I ran out of water. It's dry. Usually June is dry for us. The 5 years we've been here, every June I start having flashbacks of California and drought. But usually by July it rains every day.
Yeah, usually it's about 4th of July, right? Like it starts to rain. Every 4th of July it usually rains. So
you're
hopefully
getting
that's coming.
close.
Yeah.
We're getting close. There is rain in the forecast. Like this next, I think Thursday is our first chance of rain. It's usually like when we get up around 95, that's when we start getting those what do they call them, intermittent thunderstorms, where it's like there's no rain in the forecast, then all of a sudden you just see a thunderstorm build up out of nowhere, and then it dumps an inch on you, and then it's like 70 degrees the rest of the day. This is the weather I live for when it does that.
Yeah, that's what we had that last week. And then we had our first, I can't say ever, but the first one that I can remember, we had a tornado warning. We didn't get one, but yeah, like it was popping up all over the phones, and I was like, what?
You guys have tornadoes there?
Nope. We had, probably back in like 2010, when we lived up here before, we had they call it, I think, a derecho or something like that. It's the opposite of a tornado. So like a tornado sucks or blows stuff in. And so whatever a tornado does, it does the complete opposite. And it went over our property. It didn't touch down, but it ripped all the tops off of the trees in our yard. Like we had like 3-foot diameter pine trees, and it just went by, ripped all the tops off, and then it went up our town, like towards town more where we live, and then it touched down there, and it was just like where it landed, it just flattened everything, and then picked back up, and it was
sounds
weird.
like the straight line winds we get out here. We don't really get tornadoes right here where we're at, but just a little bit, 20 minutes east of us, they get straight line winds, and it's the same thing. I mean, they get tornadoes out there too, but yeah, the straight line winds are no joke. Same thing. It'll take out trees. It's just a path of destruction. Roofs missing off houses. Yeah, it's scary.
Yep.
So who wants to go? Who has the most exciting thing this week?
Does anybody have anything super exciting in the heat? No, just
No, not at all. I'm trying not to go outside.
Yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at. We've been playing this weird dance. We've got a mini split that I'm waiting on parts that are back ordered that's out. And I'm still waiting. It's been 2 weeks and I'm still waiting. Kind of sucks. So we have to keep, both doors on both ends of the house, our room and the boys' room. We have to keep those doors open. And the middle space of the house, which is, where we generally are always at, it's the kitchen and the living room. It'll keep it down to, 70 degrees in here, but if for whatever reason, like tonight, Buggy goes to bed a little bit earlier so we can sit in here and do the podcast, and I can tell that door's closed because it's a little warm in here. So if you see me sweating, that's why. All the doors are closed up.
Oh man, is that ham gonna be good still?
Yeah. Oh yeah, they'll be fine. Yeah, just some major lag. Yeah, the hams in the kitchen should be fine. I mean, I did one in the barn, and it was fine. We've eaten it already. It's really all about that cure time, the dry time. You want to make sure they're good and dry before hot weather gets here.
Yeah.
You don't want to hang one up right now.
No, that you might as well just throw it straight to the chickens right away.
So we had, so we sold 2 of the piglets, the Kune piglets that were just born 3 months ago, and a family came over and picked them up this week.
Nice.
They just bought 2, and that's all we're selling.
Nice.
They raised some feeder pigs, so I think they just wanted to try some Kunes.
Yep.
I think they drove about 3 hours to come pick them up.
Oh wow!
So yeah, it was cool. I'm glad those are gone. At least those.
Less mouths to feed.
Yes.
Less
chaos on feeding day.
So how many do you have now that you sold the 2? How many piglets do you still have?
We have 4, but I still have that hernia pig.
Right.
So we're going to butcher him soon. So I'm going to end up with 3.
Yep.
Which is good. I'm happy with that. Plus we still have the 4. But yeah, now I'm debating if I should put them back together and breed some more. I don't know if I should do it now or I usually wait till after the year, but I don't know.
Do 2 litters this year is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, if you did that, they would probably pop those piglets out come cold weather, and then that batch in 2 years would be ready right at cold weather time. That's the schedule I've been trying to get on, and it just hasn't worked out. I would much rather have pigs, the 2-year grow out pigs ready in November. That would be perfect.
Yeah, like if we'd have done that this last with our 4 bigger ones that we have, they would have been ready this last winter instead of they were ready in March or May. So yeah, that would be ideal. So yeah, maybe we could try it. But let's see. So I feel like I've been doing everything but YouTube videos lately.
Another feeling.
Like I had I mentioned, I think last podcast or the podcast before, I was doing a chick lift videos. Because they're putting them in like Walmart maybe or Ace Hardware. So the same guy who does chick lift, he also builds these door strikes. So they're like, the door strike is the metal piece that the deadbolt slides into on your door jamb. He makes the metal piece. So these things are like they're like tanks. They're probably like a 1/4 inch thick. I mean, it's just a piece of metal and then he throws these giant screws in them, and you have to chisel out a spot for them on your door. But compared to the ones that you usually get that come standard with a door lock, I mean, these things are like tanks. So he's selling these things, and I did a install video for him because he's going to be selling these. He's trying to get them in like Walmart, Ace Hardwares, and stuff like that, and like hardware stores. So, and then I think he's also going to do some ads and stuff online. So I'm basically it's going to be me on the videos.
That's cool. That'd be cool.
Yeah, so it's pretty neat. But those things are like heavy duty. I'm seeing if he could send me some, and if he does, I was going to send you guys some. So you guys can try
install one?
I installed it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he did a video on. He sent me a video that he had their local SWAT team use one on a door where they simulating breaking in the door, and they couldn't break the door because of this thing. Like they really had a pound on this door. Like they finally got it open, but it was like it took a while. Compared to
test it out.
what's that?
Did you test it out at your house?
Yeah, I had Zeke just ram my door. I'm like, Zeke, get it.
The food's on the other side, Zeke.
Yeah. But yeah, they're pretty neat. So I'm kind of stoked to be a part of that, and he asked me to be part of that, and we'll see once they get out there. But if anyone's interested, they do have a website. It's called Hill HILL and Lock, hillandlock.com. So
I'm gonna write that down.
yeah, so I think right now he has them on for sale on his website, but yeah, they're like heavy duty, like major. It's one of those things where you're like, man, how come I didn't think of that? You know, because it's so simple. It seems so simple, but I guess it's not one thing that you typically think about.
Right.
So yeah, I was doing that video, and then also we're getting ready to leave to Iowa for the McMurray Fest. So when this podcast comes out, I'll be hanging out with a couple thousand crazy chicken people in Iowa. So I've been trying to do my talk, and I got to do a PowerPoint and all that stuff. I've been doing that all weekend. It sounds easy, but it's hard to getting all that stuff together, getting pictures together. And I feel like I've talked about all these things. Like I'm talking about building chicken coops and stuff. I mean, I've you guys too. I mean, we've talked about all this stuff all the time on our videos, but like when you have to put it all together in a package almost, and get all the pictures and try to find pictures and of things that you've done in the past and try to put all that together in a nice, pretty, trying to make sense of it all package to present to people, that's kind of hard, but it's almost there. I'm hoping to finish it before I leave, so I don't have to do it on the road.
Good weather. Just sit inside and do it.
Yeah, so just doing it on the road is not gonna. I don't think it would be fun. Because it's not a vacation, but it kind of is a vacation.
Yeah. Now, do you have a specific
like a
time
vacation
length that you're supposed to be like? Oh, it's supposed to be like a 15-minute or a 30 minutes talk kind of thing.
It's supposed to be an hour.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a long talk.
I'm the first one to go on Sunday morning.
Okay.
And I think it's going to be the main stage. I looked, and I was like, you got him first one coming on Sunday on the big stage. I'm like, all right.
That's funny.
We'll see. I said I was going to dress up as like a chicken and do the talk. That might be kind of fun.
Right.
Just to break the ice, like just to make it light.
Now
people start walking in Sunday morning.
I know they probably just got done with church, and like here I am with a chicken costume on stage. But yeah, that's all I've been doing really this last week. So I might be light on my videos on YouTube. So because I'm going to be busy doing other things, so I'm probably not going to post. I might not post probably for another a week, maybe, unless I could come up with something before I leave. But I don't want to go crazy either, trying to think of something.
Yep. Are you going to do videoing out there? Yeah,
I'll probably film when I'm there, I think, just to do it. Because we're not vending or nothing, so, I can't just hang out. I got to like do multiple things at once.
Right. Can't take it easy.
I completely get you on that one. I don't sit well.
Yeah, because I'll be there and I'll be like, man, I should be filming. I'll be thinking that.
Yep.
Or I'll see something cool and I'll be like, dang, I should have filmed that, or I should film this guy. Like he he's talking about some cool stuff, or or something like that. And so yeah, I'm gonna film. Should be fun. Now,
is it a 3-day event, 2-day event?
It's a 2-day event, but then on the third day they're doing. You could visit the hatchery.
Okay.
I think they're doing tours.
That'd be cool.
I don't think we're staying for that, but I think we're just going to be there the 2 days.
So Saturday, Sunday, you'll be there.
Yeah.
And then Monday, they're doing a hatchery tour.
Yeah, I think that's what they're doing. So, yeah. So, should be fun. Should be different. Also, a little break from the day-to-day normal stuff that we're doing here.
Yeah.
Which is kind of nice. And that too, like I was trying to get, we've been trying to get ready, Lorraine's parents are watching our place. So just, it's hard to leave. For me, it's trying to make their time here as easy as possible.
Yep.
When they're here, where they don't have to do too much hauling, waters, and this and that. But so trying to set them up for success is what I've been trying to do too. So
that'll keep you busy.
Yeah. So it's hard, it's hard to leave. You got to do all that stuff, and then on top of the YouTube videos. So the YouTube videos are going to take a break a little bit, and while I get all this other stuff done. It's just the way it is.
How it goes.
I mean,
it's where it's at.
Yeah, that's about it. So what's up, Al?
So I wasn't smart enough to sit inside during the heat. I decided to go out and work still.
You got to pump out those videos.
No, I just have so much stuff that and there's just the list never ends. So it's like, if I'm not working, it's just growing, and I'm not chipping away at it. So
yeah,
we got the water lines done the other day, so I had to order some topsoil to put over them because we had some pretty good deep ruts still from taking out all the rocks. So we got some topsoil, spread that out, raked it out. I was hemming and hawing about grass seeding. I didn't. I'm glad I didn't now because we got those flash floods basically, and a lot of not all of the topsoil, but some of the topsoil washed away. The grass seed definitely would have washed away. Luckily, I saved a pile of topsoil. I used probably about half of it at first. I'm like, okay, I'll fill in everything we can. I'll leave a pile, so if I need to touch it up, if stuff settles again, I can. So we'll be fine. We just got to do it again. But it's just one of those things that's like never ending. It seems like
it was like a big ditch that you had to fill up. Big ditch, was it like super deep?
No, so it was. We had already filled them up. We were just going back and filling in the ruts because we had taken out all the rocks. So there was, there was low spots in the trench.
Yeah,
so we dug it all out. But
okay.
So we had to clean that all up. It wasn't too bad. But I'm just thankful when I was doing the water lines, we didn't get this rain. Because usually when I dig a trench, I get this kind of rain. So I was just thankful that this year I was able to backfill it all before we got all this rain.
That's the way it goes. Then you got a trench full of water you can't do anything with.
Yeah, not fun. That's for sure.
So still have all those rocks?
Yeah, I piled them all up. I drive by them every time I go to the barn. I just look at them and go, I wonder what I'll do with those. It's probably like 3 dump truck loads.
Man.
Bunch of rocks. Man.
Maybe one day I'll get a rock crusher. I don't know. Maybe I'll sell them for landscape. Maybe people want them for decorations. I don't know.
I think it'd be cool if you could try to sell them. See how much you could get out of a rock.
Right. If you were in an area, you could make some good money off those big rocks, I think. Like if you were in an area that people did more landscaping, but being out in the rural area, I don't think a lot more people probably have rocks that they don't want than they do want. So
hey, there's a guy I worked for back when I was a kid. That was like my second job ever. I was doing landscaping, and there was a backyard where we had to build a waterfall. And I don't know how my boss met this dude or found this dude, but this dude had some boulders, and we had to drive way out into the middle of nowhere, kind of in the foothills, the Central Valley. Like it's out in the middle of nowhere. There are no boulders around, and we just cross a couple cattle guards, a couple gates, and all of a sudden there's this big old pile of boulders. Well, we I guess he got them pretty cheap, and so we brought a tractor and a trailer, and we're loading these boulders up. And we got them, and we went and built the waterfall. Well, we went back to get a few more, and turns out they were stolen rocks, and we didn't know anything about it. So I guess people will steal boulders. I don't know how that works, but
that's interesting.
I've always wondered, who the heck has the time and energy to steal boulders this big? That took a lot of effort to steal these boulders. Whose yard did you go and rob these boulders from?
Yeah.
That's funny.
I remember one time, this is in California, but maybe I was in junior high or something, and I think my mom or my dad, we had like a little hill like on the side of our house, and it was just a hill that was just always weeds and stuff, and so they wanted to cover it with rock. And so, they put landscape fabric on it, and then we went out. I don't know, we only drove maybe 30 minutes in where it was kind of desert area, but there was like these ton of these rocks, right? Giant rocks. Not huge, but rocks where maybe two people or one person can pick up. So he drove us out there and we loaded up. He had a Toyota Land Cruiser, like I think it was 80s Toyota Land Cruiser. And we filled it. I remember filling this thing up with rocks from that area, and we filled up the whole side of the house on this hill full of rocks. And like, we lived in that house through high school. And I remember in high school, I used to always drive by the area that we got all these rocks. And then, over the years, you start seeing signs like no picking up rocks on those spots, like there was like a cop always patrolling the area. Like you weren't really supposed to pick up rocks. It was like, I think it was kind of like a national forest or something.
Joshua Tree National Forest, and you're taking his rocks.
But this was like in the 80s or something, like no one cared.
Oh, that's funny.
And over time, probably too many people did that, probably. So, I don't know. Rock stories.
Yeah, we did something like that when we were kids. My dad had a buddy who had a housing development. They were blasting. So we went there and my brother had he had an 80-something Toyota pickup truck. And we just filled that thing back then when you're kids, you don't really think about weight. You just whatever will fit in the back of the truck goes. So I still hear about it to this day. Yeah, I still hear about it to this day because I supposedly ruined the bed of his Toyota pickup truck by loading it up too many times like that. But we got a rock wall built.
Yes.
And it was all flat bedrock that had been blasted. So
I know. Yeah, it's weird. Like I'm not paying money for rock.
Right.
Well, I'll pay money for rock that goes on the driveway, but for boulders and stuff, it's like, man.
I know. Different time back then, maybe.
Yeah. So we've been trying to put in new pasture area. It's going to be pasture. I'd say half of it's pasture. We'll say half of it's woodland, a third of it's pasture, and the other little bit is woods that used to be cut. That's all stumps that are growing back. So it's going to be interesting to see once we get everybody out there what they like. I think it'd be nice to have on the pasture the shade. So there's woods on one side. So in the morning time, they have a shade on this wood line. And then as the sun comes up, they can go in the woods and get into the shade, but they can come out into pasture. And then they can go in the woods if they got, get the flies off them and stuff. And then it'll be interesting to see how much they like eating the sprouted or whatever you want to call the smaller trees that are growing out of the stumps. They're loving all the leaves off of that and kind of thing.
Who is?
We get cows up there.
Oh, the cows. Yeah.
And the goats will probably go up there too. So it'll be interesting. An experiment I kind of want to mess with, and we just haven't had time to do it yet.
You just have the one goat?
We have two.
Two.
Yep.
And those are the ones you just let them free range, right?
Yeah, they just free range. I'm assuming though, if the cows are up there and the cows are loving life, eating, they're gonna be like, oh, there's got to be something good up there. We got to go too. So, they've actually been. So we brought Miles. So we have the two barns that we built when we first got there, run-in sheds. We had the goats have one, and then George and Miles had another one. Well, it was just been Miles because George passed away, and they ate all the grass out of it. So the ones the goats were in had 3-foot tall grass because the goats weren't eating the grass. So I brought Miles, the black Highland cattle, over there, and the goats didn't like that. So they would run and hide all day long, and then they'd go down to the new barn and sleep in the new barn and not go to the old barn. But now they become buddies with Miles, so they hang out with him all day long, and they sleep in the old barn again. It's kind of funny.
It's funny. Yeah, animals are funny.
Yep.
Goats are funny.
I thought so. So I was talking last episode that we were getting some chaff hay, or fermented alfalfa hay. We got that. Right now, Chewy doesn't have it. It's out of stock. Supposedly they're going to be getting it back in stock, but I don't know when. But I don't know if it's that or not. When we were feeding it to her, I was hoping we would see our cream production go up. We haven't, but we've gone from 1 gallon of milk a day milking, which is more than enough for us. One time a day, she's been producing 1 gallon. Right now, we're getting just shy of 2 gallons. And the only different thing we did was give her chaff hay. So, and we're giving her like I'd say maybe like a 3-gallon bucket full of chaff hay, not packed, just kind of like loosely put into the bucket. So,
what are you
That's
doing with
not
all
a
that milk?
ton.
no, it's not a ton. It's, you know what I mean? I'm going to say the bale of chaff hay, which is 50 pounds, will last us a week to 10 days. And that's like how fast you got to feed it out. And we're giving it to her. We're giving it to her calf. We're giving it to the pigs. And then we're giving it to the other cow just to make sure we use it up so it doesn't go bad. So then the milk, extra milk, we've been giving to the pigs and soaking their feed in it.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Nice.
it's like extra
that's
value
where it's
for
at
everybody.
right there.
Yeah.
That's gonna be some good bacon right there, man.
Yeah. And then we're making more yogurt and then making frozen yogurt. So trying to get the benefit out of it all.
Right on. Yeah.
Making me want to get a cow again.
Do you guys want to get another milk cow?
We've talked about it. Honestly, I think the current age of the baby is dictating if we get a new dairy cow, but it's definitely on the table.
Do you want to do beef too, or you just raise the calf again like you guys did before, up for beef? Or would you get like a beef steer?
I don't know. We've talked about just getting a steer, just raising it up. We might do that because that's a little less involved. Just because we're going to run out of beef long before we have a cow raised up and ready. But as far as like a dairy cow goes, we know we can support 1 cow with what grass we have on this property. So like it makes sense. Why not feed all of our grass to an animal that gives us milk, or a beef cow or something like that, rather than just mow it. So
right.
Yeah, eventually we will.
Yep. I was out taking the side-by-side up the road, and probably about a quarter mile, half mile from the barn, there was a good-sized black bear just kind of moseying along. So I don't know. Hopefully he doesn't come down to the barn, but I think they were just out eating berries and enjoying life. It was kind of cool to see. We've been seeing a lot of wildlife lately.
Are they scared of you?
No. I mean,
Like
he didn't seem like it. When I drove up, I spotted him, and he was just kind of moseying along eating. I stopped, watched him for a few minutes, and then I talked to him, and that's when he like went, oh, and heard me, and then he just started running off into the woods. So black bears usually don't bother you. If you get in between like their cub, I think they might, but
yeah,
they usually. Now, you must have bear down in your area? Black bear?
Yeah, no, we got them here.
Yeah. You don't see them too much. I mean, I've never seen one where we're at, but
supposedly one of my neighbors had security camera footage of one going in the culvert down here between our houses, but he's one of those neighbors that says a lot of things, so I don't know if I believe him. But we have some friends that do bear hunting, and they said, yeah, there's bears around here, but not very many. You kind of got to get up in the hills a little bit more, get away from civilization. But yeah, we got them.
The bears are all moved to the city.
Right, they want the trash, the easy food.
Yeah.
Yep.
The people are moving out of the city, and the bears are moving in.
That's funny. I wonder if they have like, do they see a lot of bear? Do you think in like Asheville?
Yeah, they're mainly in the city, city parts.
Okay.
Yeah.
Easy food.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of like raccoons.
Right. Big raccoon, basically.
I've been seeing deer on our property.
Have you seen any fawns yet?
Nah, I don't think so.
No.
They're pretty low. I think they're scoping out our fruit trees.
Looking at the apples.
Yeah.
Hey, you got a cool trailer. Just invite them to cool off if they're eating your fruit trees.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
That's funny. We've been having we've been having turkeys around, and they've been staying around, wild turkeys. And I'm like, oh, I wonder if they have like a clutch of eggs because they've been staying in the field. And then there's 2 different groups of baby turkeys we've been seeing now. It's been kind of neat. Like when you drive past them, you'll see like the big turkeys run across the driveway, and then the little turkeys, they won't. Like they'll be hiding, and then like they have plenty of time to cross the road if they want. They just get up and they fly. And then I'm actually surprised with how far they can fly. It's like they're just playing a game. It's kind of fun to watch.
Man, we got a big old flock of wild turkeys around here. It's like 50, 60 birds strong. Like, wow. It is a huge flock of turkeys.
You guys have a turkey season down there?
Yeah, I want to say we just have a spring turkey season, and we don't have a fall turkey season. I'd have to double check, but I remember when I read it, it was like, what? That's dumb. No Thanksgiving turkey.
Right. Yeah.
I think it is spring.
That's interesting.
I don't know. You would think it'd be Thanksgiving area.
Right.
You got to raise your own turkeys.
Yep.
That's pretty much it for my week. And then we've been trying to hide from we were trying to hide from the heat. Luckily, it broke for us.
Yeah.
We're supposed to get warm again tomorrow, 80s. That's not much compared to, I mean, it's still warm, but it's not like being in the 90s.
We're 90s all week, I think.
Yeah, I think I saw 95 on
Has it been
Thursday,
humid?
Wednesday or Thursday. Oh, yes, extremely.
So even though it's dry with no rain, it's still humid.
Yep.
When the clouds go over, it's pretty nice. I mean, it's okay, but it's when there's no clouds. So that's when it's tough.
Like today. Today was pretty nasty. Just hot and humid. I saw the greenhouse had got up to 114 in the greenhouse with the sides up and the doors open. That was pretty awful. So I guess I'll talk about my week. We'll see if it works. The internet has been so sketchy today. I don't know. It always acts up when it's windy. I don't know why.
You sound really good right now.
Okay, well then.
In this moment.
Let's get her done. All right. So this past week we've been harvesting a lot of our root crops. I harvested. I think the last podcast I talked about harvesting the potatoes out of the Hugo mound.
I spoke too soon.
Yeah. Okay. I'll just keep going. I know it'll be fine on my end. So yeah, we got out there and we harvested all of the potatoes out of our Hugo mound. You know, it's just an experiment. I ended up getting 24 pounds of potatoes out of that, and that was literally just junk that I just threw in there rather than composting it or feeding it to the pigs or chickens. I just tossed all these sprouted potatoes out in there in that Hugo mound, and it yielded 24 pounds of potatoes, which I'm ecstatic for. That the expectations were low, and we got a pretty good yield out of it. We also, this past week, we harvested 20 pounds of beets, 10 pounds of carrots. I mean, I'm stoked. You know, that some stuff that I thought wasn't doing very good, and I guess I had my expectations really low, and it turns out stuff actually did better than expected.
And that was all from the Hugler mound, even the carrots and beets?
No, the carrots and beets were from the garden. Sorry, okay. I should have clarified that. There's still some more stuff to harvest out of that Hugo mound. I've got shallots. I've got some onions. I actually do have potatoes that were planted about, a month ago. So those still have a ways to go still. That's like the other side of the Hugo mound. But yeah, basically treating it like a compost pile and having the stuff grow. Like, it was really cool. It has kind of actually made me rethink how I'm going to, do some gardening because that bed, it is sheer neglect. I've done nothing to it. It hasn't got the amendments that our garden has. It is literally just, some of the nastiness from the pig pen just scraped up and mixed up with some dirt, and then it grew incredibly well. Like, I'm stoked. We also, since our pigs have farrowed and they need some more greenage, I've got them on single wire right now, ran up in the woods, and they've been out there for about a week now. Nobody's escaped. Everybody's staying in, and it's awesome. Like, it's anybody who has ever dealt with moving Premier One nets up in the woods, it is a pain in the butt. And then running pigs, they'll root, and I don't know if anybody else's do it, but mine will push up debris against the fence until they can knock the fence down, and then they get out. Well, having a single wire, it's up off the ground, and they have a harder time defeating it. So I'm really having a good time with one wire. I don't want to speak too soon and jinx it. I'll go out there after we're done with this podcast and where'd the pigs go? So I don't want to jinx it, but yeah, the single wire, it's super easy to move, put down, take up. It's nice. It's cool. So yeah, so far so good. Also,
How high up off the ground?
Go ahead.
You have the single wire.
Maybe about 6 inches off the ground. Okay. The piglets, they can walk under it, but they're still so little. They're finding mom to nurse every 10 minutes, so they don't go too far right now. And then by the time they do start wandering off, it'll be time to wean them, and I'll just catch them all, go put them in a pen to wean them. So yeah, 6 inches off the ground seems to be the sweet spot. I've noticed it has to be, like, I did it about a foot off the ground because I figured when they're standing there, it's right at face level. And I found that the first time I put them in there with it, they would charge it because when they, go to run over something, they put their nose real low to the ground and then just push under it. And so I put it down to, I don't know, maybe their knee height, I would say. And for whatever reason, that must be the sweet spot because they don't push it. They won't try to bust through it. So that's what's worked for us for some, short, stocky guinea hogs.
Mm-hmm.
We've always done two. Like, we'll do one 6 inches and then one probably like 12 or 18 inches up. And that's worked well. But that's kind of cool. If one works, that's even better for sure.
Yeah.
Take some
super,
guts. You
super
gotta have
happy.
some guts to do that.
I don't know if it's guts or if it's just I'm so tired of unbearing a net every single day. I mean, those pigs, it gets to the point where it's like, okay, there's no more sticks in here. I'll come out the next day and there's roots that they've dug up and pushed against the fence. And it's just like, okay, guys, like, I get it. You don't like the electric fence, but having to permanently keep a shovel out here and like a pitchfork to, get all the debris off is just kind of frustrating. It really eats up your morning if you're having to do that when you're doing your morning chores. So, my middle child, formerly middle child, just turned 15 this past week. And, Brett had his birthday and he wanted ribs for his birthday. So it was kind of cool. I had the ribs in the freezer. This was the feeder pigs that we did this past winter. I packaged up all the ribs and saved them, and they were pretty good sized ribs. Like, they're very comparable to what you would buy in the store as far as size and meatiness, because these were a pretty good sized feeder pig. I think it was like 4 racks of ribs and 2 baby back ribs. So it was a fair bit of ribs. I did I always called it cheating. I did the cheating method for smoking them. Take them out there, put them in the smoker, smoke them for like an hour, hour and a half. Get a bunch of smoke on them, get them real smoky. And then you bring them inside and put them in the oven, tinted, and cook them for, 2 hours, something like that. And then uncover them the last little bit, slather them in barbecue sauce, and put them in long enough for that barbecue sauce to really get tacky and ooey gooey on the ribs. Man, if these weren't the best dang ribs I have ever had. I mean, we ate some good barbecue when we were traveling the country, like Memphis, St. Louis. I mean, you name it. We ate ourselves across this country, and when the barbecue's good, it's good. And being able to have some ribs like this that I made was really cool. And it got me thinking, it's like, you know what? It's probably because these were our pigs. Like, this is homegrown pork. You underestimate how good homegrown pork is until, cooking it the way I used to cook ribs all the time. And it was just, I mean, they melt in your mouth, just melt in your mouth ribs. Not to toot my own horn, but it is a really, really cool thing to like from start to finish. I told Brett, I was like, man, it took me 6 months to make your ribs for dinner.
Yep.
Yeah, butchered with my own 2 hands.
Yep. So I think what's kind of funny too is I used to. There were some weekends I would barbecue, like, I don't know, 6 or 8 racks of ribs just so we'd have leftovers. And doing our own pigs, this was 2 pigs worth of ribs, and it kind of makes you understand the maybe not waste, but the gravity of the situation. If you're cooking, 6, 8, 10 racks of ribs in one shot, that's a lot of animals. And when you're putting your own meat in your freezer, you only get two sets of ribs from a pig. So it's, that represented 2 pigs, I think is what it was, 2 pigs worth of ribs. So yeah, it's definitely an interesting thing. It made me really realize how much our eating and cooking has changed since we, started raising our meat like this. It's kind of eye-opening because you can't just go to the freezer and pull out more meat if you've eaten all of it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's pretty much it for my week. Just like we've been talking about the whole podcast, we've been hiding from the heat. We're kind of having this heat wave right now, and it's kind of miserable. It's kind of hot. I'm basically inside by like 9 o'clock. I actually was digging some potatoes yesterday morning, and like it was, I don't know, 7:30, and I was out there digging potatoes, and the sun finally came up and like got over the trees. And so where I was digging, I was fine until the sun came out and just started cooking me. Oh man, felt like frying bacon. Like I'm literally like, this is the weather. If I'm out there working, I will sweat my clothes completely just soaked. I came in and I get kind of grumpy when I'm that hot and that sweaty. And, Meg's been inside full time with the baby, and she finally had to go out. I think she was picking green beans or something like that. And she comes in, she's like, I understand why you're grumpy. It's really freaking hot out there. Yeah. Yep. So yeah, there's been a lot of hiding in here. Just trying to keep cool.
What about the wood chipper? You doing wood chipping lately?
I haven't done any wood chipping. Honestly, we've been busy. We've been doing all sorts of other things. Me and the boys are back at karate now that we had the baby. We kind of took some time off, and so that eats up 2 nights a week. And I mean, it's fun. It's cool. We really enjoy doing the martial arts thing, but losing your nights, that's kind of hard when you got something going on every other night. The wood chipping will return. I'm working on clearing the property line, and so there's a whole bunch of wood chipping I gotta get done. But it's just like I was talking about. If you're inside not doing anything, then that list just keeps growing. You keep thinking of things to work on, and then you still have the things that you wanted to work on. So it's a struggle.
Always plenty to do. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I think what's interesting living here versus suburbia, when we were living in town, there was all sorts of things I would do all summer that were inside. Like summertime, we'd watch lots of movies. There was barbecues and stuff like that we would do all summer. But when you were working stiff, you got your 5 to 9 that you get to fill with what you want to do. And back in California, when it gets miserable hot like it is here, you don't go outside. You don't do anything. And so, for me, this kind of weather reminds me of sitting inside, either playing video games or playing a lot of guitar. That's what I used to do, gosh, years ago. I quit playing video games, I don't know, 20 years ago, and then just started playing guitar. Well, I think what's weird is being here, I don't even really do that. All I want to do is go out and work on stuff here, all the projects here. I don't know if you guys are the same way. You just sit inside and feel guilty about not being out there working.
Yep.
Yeah. For me, I feel like if I'm inside, I'm going to have to edit a video of some sort. Even if it's like a YouTube short or something like that, or there's always something to edit, if anything. But yeah, I agree. If you feel like you should be outside sweating to death.
Yeah.
I'm not doing enough. I need to be outside sweating to death.
Yep.
And sometimes I'll go out there just to sweat. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna move the pigs. I'm gonna move the pigs at 1:00 in the afternoon. Sometimes.
Yeah. Sometimes you just start going stir crazy, and it's like, I got to go do something now. I can't sit in here. I'll go find something to do either in the barn or up in the woods where it's shaded. But man, it's hard. It's hard for me anyways. Just sitting, start going stir crazy.
Yep.
It's like the early mornings and late evenings. That's my time to do stuff. But the in between is just like, Meg says it's siesta time, and it's like, I can't siesta.
No, I know. I don't know why. I don't know why. We just can't sit still. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing, but I guess
both. I think keeps us out of trouble, but I'm sure there's some things about it that aren't good for you either.
And that's what's hard about it, trying to find that balance of not doing too much of any of it.
Yeah. Sometimes I'll hit a wall, and it's like, oh, there'll be like a day or two where it's like, nope, I'm not done like all day, but it's like, no, there's a couple of early nights you have to have. It's like, yep, nope, I hit my wall. I need to recoup for a little bit.
Yes. Yeah, I know. And then on the days I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna go walk around Lowe's. I need a break. I need to go walk around Lowe's for a minute.
Right.
See if I run into anybody. See if I run into Ben at Lowe's or something.
I don't think we've ran into each other yet at Lowe's, have we?
Have you guys ever ran into each other at Lowe's?
We have, haven't we?
Have we? Maybe once.
Yeah. I'll be like, hey, it's Ben from Holler Homestead. You said you got turkeys out, didn't you?
Yep, we did. We got turkeys last week.
They're doing all right?
They're doing good. We lost one, so we're down to 10. But other than that, they're doing really good. I don't know what happened to the other one, but they're all doing good. They're with the chicks. I'm thinking probably next week I'll put them all outside, so I have 30 red stars or something like that from McMurray Hatchery for our egg layers. And then we got 2 free chicks. One is a barred rock, and I'm pretty sure it's a hen. And then the other one is a bantam, and I'm pretty sure the bantam is a hen. But we were hoping for a bantam rooster because they're kind of cool looking. But I think
those little ones.
Yeah, they're the little ones with the furry feet.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So I think once the turkeys get a little bit bigger, which I'm hoping is next week, we'll put all of them outside into their own little chicken tractor. But we got a metal frame chicken tractor a couple of years ago. I think that's like 10 by 12. It's a good size. So I'll stick them all in there.
You're going to raise them all together?
Yeah, we'll just raise them all together. And then when the turkeys get too big, we'll put the turkeys by themselves probably. But for now, we'll leave everybody together. And then hopefully right before winter, the egg layers start laying. Because what we find is, at least in our climate, if we can get them laying right before winter, they'll lay pretty steady all through winter. So we won't really have like a low of eggs during the winter. So we try to do that like every other year.
Yeah, our turkeys are looking really good.
And you got what? How many? 20? 20 something?
We have 17 now.
17.
We started with 20, yeah.
Okay, so that's not bad.
No, that's great.
Yeah.
So we'll it's going to be a big butcher day if they all survive.
Right? How big are you gonna let them get?
I want to say, I don't know. I mean,
Have you ever butchered a 55-pound turkey?
no,
Jeez.
no. Have you?
Yes. I was. I wanted my turkeys to be ready to harvest around Thanksgiving, so I wouldn't butcher them before.
Oh,
And we
so you
got them.
waited.
We got them early spring, like our local.
Mm.
We got them from our local feed store, and that's what they had them was early spring, and we raised them from spring to fall. And yeah, the big one was like 55 pounds butchered.
Goodness.
So we had, yeah,
Sure that wasn't an ostrich?
it was huge.
Wow.
I had to strap a kill cone to the bucket of my Kubota to get it in because I couldn't lift it up to like the regular height of a kill cone, and I had to order special kill cones.
What about scalding it? Did you scald it?
I did scald it. I don't remember how I scalded it, but we did scald it.
That's a beast.
We cut it in half with a sawzall to put it in the oven because it wouldn't fit.
You treat it like a pig.
Yep.
Like...
Yep. That fed quite a few people.
Yeah, I'm thinking like 15 pounds.
Yeah, that's what I'd recommend. They're
15,
manageable.
20, maybe 20 at the most, but right around there.
Yep.
Yeah, we did a 34-pound turkey, and that was too big. Like, I had to part that thing out because we couldn't. We had no bags that big. It wouldn't fit in the freezer. Like, at some point, it's kind of ridiculous to let them get that big.
Yeah.
They still taste good, though, when they're 55 pounds. I mean, it was delicious, amazing meat. It didn't, like, I wouldn't say it was, like, tough. You know what I mean? Like, letting it get it that big didn't ruin the meat. But, yeah, it's just ridiculous to have that big of a bird in your freezer and having to cut it up to cook it. And so there were some big breasts, that's for sure.
Nice.
Now, you going to be doing any butchering classes with the turkeys?
We might do one. We're talking about that. I don't know yet. If we do, it's going to be one and maybe just a few people.
Yeah.
Not that I don't think I would want to do a big class with those, but we probably do it where they take a turkey home too.
Right.
No internet connection.
You're going to have so many of them.
Fresh.
Well, yeah. I mean, we have to gauge. Like, I would hate to like sign people up and then like we don't have that many.
Right.
My phone went to sleep and it killed
Ben.
The video.
Yeah, his internet was bad.
Yeah, it hasn't been like that for a while for him.
So Ben's internet's been out, on and out, in and out all day. So yeah, we're about an hour anyways.
We are.
It was an hour and Ben was like, all right, I'm out.
I got to go outside. It's cooling off. I got my work to do.
Yeah. All right. So we're about an hour and we lost Ben. So I think that's it, guys.
The moral of the story, don't let your turkeys get to 55 pounds. I think 20 pounds is like more than enough.
Yes. For sure. Because they're harder to cook. They're harder to butcher. I mean, it's just hard. But So yeah, so we'll end it there. I appreciate everyone listening and watching the podcast, and thank you so much. And hopefully everyone has an awesome, fantastic week, and hopefully I have some good stories next podcast with some good Iowa stories.
If you go to the McMurray Fest, make sure you find Jason and say hello.
Yes, say hi, give me a high five, and we'll see you guys next one. Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Thanks for listening. Bye.